let's switch to English for the next segment, and let's actually fly over the Netherlands to join you, actually, Orwa Nyrabia. You're definitely joining us live from the Netherlands. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, actually, to you, not God. Great to have you with us.
Good afternoon, and it's wonderful to join you all. I'm very sorry these days are strange. I'm not there in person, but I'm so happy to be joining in, even if remotely.
Thank you so much. And as we've been, saying since very early this morning, 2022, we have to keep on being agile and creative, right? So let's actually dive into our conversation. What the part of French creation in a festival such as yours, such as IDFA?
It is a very important point to say what is the place of French cinema, because I think French cinema defines so much of the festival when you see how much French cinema is in it. At least in the past 4 years of IDFA, I would say that by far the largest share of the films in IDFA's overall programming was French. So this is the majority of international co-productions and local productions of French filmmakers that together make the biggest share of our festival. And it is quite a big festival. So this is a lot of films. And I'm talking about an average of 45 French productions and co-productions every year at IDFA. So the place is big, and it's I think it's not only a question of quantity. It is also a question of quality. In a way, this is about the notion of co-production. It's about the notion of French film industry having this great tradition of co-producing with others. If I look at the history of the cinema of my own country, my home country of Syria, for example, I will see that French co-production have always had a very important place here. Same goes for Egyptian cinema, for Lebanese cinema, Palestinian cinema, for Japanese cinema, Thai cinema, for Latin American and African. So in a way, I think this tradition should give French cinema a very important edge or advantage in the world today, when this kind of openness is being demanded, is not anymore a suggestion, and it is not coming just from pragmatist angles, but also from ethical and political positions.
Thank you so much, actually, Orwa, for reminding us that we definitely have to feel so lucky to be able, to foster such great emotions, so great values when it comes to French cinema and creation. And if I'm not mistaken, actually, IDFA is all about documentaries, right? So what is the part, actually, of French production on the overall market when it comes to documentaries nowadays?
I mean, it's a historical question, of course, because the contribution of French documentary cinema to the history of documentary is massive. It is not only about French films, it's about a whole approach, a whole philosophy of what documentary cinema can be, that, goes all the way back to Jean Vigo or so on, but it continues on until our current day with great filmmakers, well-established and young ones. So if I look from Chantal Ackerman to, let's say, Nicolas Philibert, Raymond Depardon, Claire Simon, and then I look and I find out that French documentary cinema also is including Riti Pan, Patricio Guzman, Jean-Marie Tenot, Osama Mohammed, Malik Ben Smail, so many others that together make up what we know to be documentary cinema of France. And this richness is an advantage, again, that shouldn't be lost, shouldn't be missed, should be built on, in the sense that of course, there are many problems with relationship between different parts of the world. There are many problems with representation and the politics of representation in French cinema. So this is not to say that French cinema is free of problems. This is to say that it is one step ahead of the others and needs to seriously build on this accomplishment today. Otherwise, it will just lose this huge investment over time.
What can I say? Nobody's perfect, huh?
No, nobody's perfect, but one step ahead is good.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So now, in a few minutes, we're going to dive here on this very stage on the young creation and how we can foster better young talents when it comes to French content creation. How would you define, in your opinion and from your perspective, the voice of young French talents? And how unique are the stories they're telling and bringing to global audiences?
I believe there are two trends today in French documentary cinema that I am at least can observe. One trend is a massive step forward from the tradition of French documentary cinema, where we are serious, where we are contemplative, where we are asking difficult questions and not providing easy answers for difficult questions. This would be something, for example, we all celebrated last year the film of Alice Diop, Nous. We, for example, and there are many others. I don't want to get into bringing many names. There was a beautiful film by Erika Etankselé, for example. There were some very good films by a new wave of filmmakers from France that are, again, just making a better thing of a history of complexity, of respecting complexity and of cinematic value. And there is another wave, like many other places in the world, that is about reviving an understanding of documentary that's much simpler than this. Big budget, populist agenda, in a way campaigning for good causes, but still campaigning and providing information and context and not cinematic value in let's say in the French tradition that I very much appreciate and respect. So I think it is a crossroads moment where there are both. There is very little funding or support, but these good films are still happening. And there is this big wave of higher budget, more informative, aiming at big box office, but not necessarily making it. So I would very much be supportive of the first category and believe that what the world needs from France, from the country's #1 cinephile society, basically, is to keep on being different, is to not try and be a version of something else, but to be itself and keep growing and developing so that we keep the diversity of our world in the picture.
And I was just about to invent a neologism here, saying, let's foster our differenceness, if I follow you closely here. Thank you so much, Orwa Nyrabia, for your time. You were joining us live from the Netherlands.
Thank you all, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Some applause, please.